Every
Still
time.
gets you? Still gets you?
Every time. Sure does.
Nice. Well, welcome in, everybody. For those listening, this is Armchair Analysis. A couple of guys who know absolutely nothing about absolutely everything. So super excited for you guys to be with us as always. And Josh, you and I both chatted off air about how we feel like it's important that we periodically make sure we remind the people, and then for any new listeners too, right? Who we are, why we're doing this. You put me on the spot last time. I'm going to put you on the spot this time. Do you want to let people know who we are and why we're doing this?
Why we are doing this. Okay, so I'll start just little background. You know, Jared and I have been best friends for probably going on 30 years. So 3 decades. We have grown up together. You know, we played soccer together as little kids. We teenagers together. So, you know, that weird era where, you know, someone's voice is cracking and someone else has a mustache. You know, young adults together going through college, you know, just trying to figure out the world. So I like to think we have a good bit of experience between the both of us, you know, like we are very similar, but we're also very different people. Whereas like, you know, whether it's like experiences from vacations or just like in life in general, you know, I think we have a lot to offer. So if someone can just glean one thing from this podcast, you know, it's that, you know, hopefully they can just connect with something we say, you know, and I think that makes it all worthwhile. And, you know, why we're doing this. Like I always joke, Jared, and say like, why are we doing this? Like, we have conversations like this all the time. You know, we'll sit on the phone for like 3 hours and just like shoot the shit and talk about God knows. We don't actually like talk about anything like productive, but it's, you know, but it's funny in the end, you know, it's always a good time. So hopefully we can entertain you a little bit. Hopefully, again, you know, you learn something, you're entertained, maybe you laugh, maybe you cry. I think they say that's what makes a good day. You know, in a day when you can laugh, you can cry, and maybe smile. I don't know. And then it's been a good day. So hopefully you get all that in just one little podcast with us.
Yeah. And I think to piggyback off of that, you know, one of the things that you and I both love to do is to learn new things as well, right? Like I've always called myself a serial hobbyist where, you know, I love picking up new things to learn, new things to try. And then once I feel like I have a good grasp on it, either I continue down that rabbit hole or we pick up the next thing. And it makes life a little bit more interesting that way. And I think you and I are relatively similar in the sense that we're both fascinated by a bunch of things that we don't understand and that we don't know. And so as much as we feel like we have to offer, I agree with that. But I think we also are excited to learn some new things along the way. And hopefully we can bring people along with us on that journey and continue to learn, man. Continue to learn and see what else is out there in the world. And I think what really rooted all of this is that we both love conspiracy theories. And so I think there will be a decent amount of sprinkle of that going on as well.
Yes.
Yeah, man. So that's a little bit of who we are and why we're doing this. And something that I think it was advice that we got. I can't remember who gave us that advice. It might have been my mom, honestly. I can't remember, but to make sure that we periodically remind the folks. So I'm glad we're doing that today.
Thank you, Mama J. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, but yep, you got it.
I was going to say, and one thing, you know, again, our slogan is 2 guys that know nothing about everything. And if we don't know anything about it, we'll make something up, you know, we'll formulate an opinion. So, you know, just sit back and enjoy the ride.
Yeah, we'll just so don't believe anything we say because we're just making
everything with the greatest salt. Yeah. I just want to like a disclaimer right off the bat, you know.
There you go. That way we can't get sued, right? There we go.
Exactly. I think that's why we can't use half of our videos because we call out a few people and well, we don't have deep pockets compared to some of these organizations. So
that is true. We definitely put our foot in our mouths quite a few times. Speaking of that, though, I mean, I think one thing that is fun for us to chat about is and kind of give people a little bit of behind the scenes look on kind of what the process has been like for us in particular. I'm sure it's different for everybody, but you know, this is something that I think the idea first came about late 2023, maybe 2022 even. I remember it's been at least 2 years. I know that it's been at least 2 years since the idea first sparked about doing something like this, and then a lot of back and forth. You know, a lot has changed since then. I was living in Sarasota, Florida at the time. Um, you were in Chattanooga, but in a different spot in Chattanooga. And you know, at the beginning, it was just like, well, what do we even need to do something like this? And I know my impulsive self was like, all right, well, if I'm not going to use it, if nothing happens with the podcast, at least I'll use it for maybe something else. And so I kind of just went all in, went to Best Buy, had a Best Buy rep kind of show me around. Probably, he seemed really nice, seemed like a nice guy. Wouldn't be surprised if I.
Sounds like a salesman, you know. Hey,
Yeah,
butter you up a little bit. Oh, hey,
Yep.
you don't want that. You want this top of the line roadcast. Yeah.
Yep. I definitely
written on your forehead, Jared.
I overpaid, I'm sure, for everything.
Classic.
But it's all part of the learning process, right? And 2 years later, here we are actually using the equipment consistently this time. So
I will say one of my favorite stories is when we first started this. So we have hours of footage again that's just not usable. But again, that's all part of the learning experience. But when we first started this and Jared was in Florida, Jared, do you care to share like kind of where you were living in Florida?
Yeah, Sarasota, Florida. So here's the thing, people. When you're
what was your living situation?
Right. So when you're doing travel healthcare, so I'm a physical therapist by trade, and at the time I was doing travel physical therapy. And when you're doing travel physical therapy, housing is a challenge because, right, you're trying to save as much coin as you can, but you also want to live somewhere that's like feasible and doable and like appropriate. And and in Florida, at least in the Sarasota, Florida area, it was really hard to find just like studio apartments or single person apartments. It was really hard to find that. It was either you're finding these massive houses where you're going to have a bunch of roommates. And I did that once before, did not want to do that again. Or you're going to find what I found, which was a lot of different RV situations. And so I chose the RV life, man. I was living in an RV that was in somebody's backyard. Shout out to my host, by the way. She was super accommodating, very, very nice lady. But yeah, I had an RV life I was living, which made podcasting a little bit of a challenge because Florida, especially in the wintertime, is pretty windy, actually, windier than I thought it was. I know hurricane season is like typically July to November ish, July to October, something like that. But you know, this was in the wintertime, and there was a lot of times where we would be trying to record, and if it's windy or, you don't have the most stable furniture in an RV. And so any little change in weight distribution, or if I put my arm down on the table, the whole thing would shake. And that was a process within itself. That's for sure. But it made it fun. It made it fun.
It made it fun, made none of the stuff usable. But again, it was a learning experience. And here we are now. There you go. 2 years later, a little bit more comfortable. But again, the fun thing about this is you guys are going to grow with us. You know, we don't know what we're doing, and we're just trying to learn as we go. So we're excited.
That's right. That's right. Now, you also have a Rodecaster now. So I guess shout out to Rodecaster, shout out to Rode Equipment, because that's what we're both using. So we like it so far, I'd say. We don't use any of their equipment very much.
We don't actually do anything with it, but it's there.
But if we're going to give them a shout out, let's give them but anyways, yeah, that's a little bit about us and kind of where we came along the way. We'll have some more stories for you guys down the road. But one thing I'm super excited to chat about here now, when we actually post this video, right, because we're new to this, so we're trying to set ourselves up for a little bit easier success. I'll be pretty candid here and let people know that, we're making a video that probably won't come out for another few weeks. But right now, as of today, our favorite football team plays tomorrow. So we have the Baltimore Ravens. They play tomorrow. It's a win and you're in situation against their biggest rival, one of the biggest rivalry stories in football. Ravens versus Pittsburgh Steelers at the Steelers.
It's like they scripted.
just like they scripted it. NFL script writers, you guys.
Man,
Well, good job. Just give applause to everybody today, I
I was
guess.
gonna say, hey, you know what? Hey, give our listeners a round of applause while we're at it too, just for being here. Just for being here.
Why not? For tuning in this long, they deserve an applause.
Right.
But hey, man, assuming we're going to be optimistic here, okay? We're going to be brutally optimistic. We're going to assume the Ravens win tomorrow, and we're going to assume Ravens get to the Super Bowl. So, assuming the Ravens get to the Super Bowl, what is your best case scenario in terms of who they play, how the game ends? What do you want to see on the Super Bowl day, assuming the Ravens make it?
I mean, obviously, we're considering best case scenario. So obviously, Ravens are in.
Right.
Whether or not this is realistic or not, that's TBD. I think they say right now, the Seattle Seahawks are probably the number one favorite from the NFC. So I'd probably prefer not to play them. I think I personally think, Philadelphia right now has some cracks, but they're also really good in the playoffs.
And the reigning champs.
And the reigning champs. So they have, they have that experience. So it's, don't necessarily want to play Seattle, don't necessarily want to play the Eagles. San Francisco, we kind of, there was the whole, Beyonce turning off the lights during the last time we played them. So maybe we kind of just slipped past them in the last Super Bowl. And then you've got Los Angeles Rams, who obviously have, a very, very good wide receiving core in Puka Nacua. Matt Stafford. He's probably going to win the MVP, I'd imagine. So none of those teams I'd really want to play. I'd prefer maybe one of the lower ranked teams. I think best case scenario though, I think we play the Rams. I really do. I think that Matt Stafford.
Really?
I do. I think that Matt Stafford's had a rough couple games at the end of the season, which I don't think is great going into the playoffs. I also just think it would be just a really exciting playoff. I think that it would, if Lamar can beat a potential MVP candidate, which I haven't seen him do in the playoffs, I think it makes it that much better of a conversation for Hall of Famer, right? He's got to beat a really good team. He's got to win the playoffs, or he's got to win a Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean,
okay. I mean, dang, I just know we lost to the Rams when we played them earlier. We actually played them pretty well, so I will say that. But not just Puka Nacua, but you also got Devontae Adams, who's a beast.
That's what I said. Their wide receiving core is great.
Yeah, so that's. I mean, okay. Now a team that we've beaten before is the Bears. We beat them. We beat the Packers already, and both of those games were without Lamar Jackson. I think best case scenario for entertainment purposes, right? Entertainment, because that's what the NFL is, right? Entertainment industry would be, and then also being biased because we're Ravens fans, would be obviously Pittsburgh doesn't get in, the Ravens do, and then Ravens versus Seahawks. Actually, now the Seahawks offense is a firepower offense. And Jigba is an animal. Sam Darnold has been playing really, really well all season long. Their defense is phenomenal. But strictly from an entertainment perspective, I think it would be dope because you have the Baltimore Ravens and then you have the ex-defensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens, now head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, Mike Macdonald. Shout out to him. He's crushing it. Going up against one another. Kind of like what's that saying? Then when the student becomes the teacher type of situation going on, so I think that'd be really fun to watch that chess match between. Yeah, that'd be a good story. Exactly. Now, San Fran would also be a good story.
Right. So I think it's like the Harbaugh Bowl, right? When they both played each other. It's exactly a fun thing to watch, right?
Yep. So
I think if we're being realistic though, I love my Ravens. Am I a little bit of a fair weather fan? Sure. But I mean, New England, I think is playing really well right now. Mike Vrabel, he's got the history. He's been there a couple times. I do think Seattle is pretty dominant right now. So I truly do see New England and Seattle.
Okay.
And I will say, and I hate that I'm saying this, but I think the Patriots get another ring.
Yeah, that would be my worst case scenario. Would be Patriots versus Eagles. Patriots are right back. As soon as the Chiefs don't make the playoffs, it goes right back to the team that was the previous dynasty, which is the Patriots, and then the Eagles, who are kind of creating an NFC dynasty. They've been there the last 2 out of the 3 years, I think, as well. So the worst case scenario would be seeing the two teams that we're so used to seeing in the Super Bowl be right back in the Super Bowl, and it not be something different than that. So I agree with you there, man. I agree. But
either way, it's fun
we'll
to
see.
speculate. I was going to say it's fun to speculate. This is going to come out a couple days before the Super Bowl, so we'll have to revisit this. Throw some comments in how wrong you think we are. You can, we'd love to see your predictions. I personally am terrible when it comes to predictions, so I'm probably not going to be anywhere close. My fantasy football teams are notoriously bad, so I wouldn't take I wouldn't go my route.
Now, something that you had a really good idea for us, I definitely got to give you credit to this. Speaking of the Super Bowl, neither one of us, I think, really gamble. Sometimes I like watching other people gamble. It's fun, like seeing the thrill of it, but I don't want to do it with my own money, honestly. But
you just like to watch other people lose their money.
I mean, that's their choice. So, but yeah, I think one of the fun things to kind of see and hear as sports betting has just taken off over the last decade or so is all the crazy bets that happen. So I pulled up. This is from Gridiron Experts, excuse me. So shout out to them. But they have a website of some of the 10 most ridiculous sports bets that are going on right now for the upcoming Super Bowl.
Oh, I love it.
Okay. So we're going to roll through this and then see if we can think of, and if the viewers can think of any other crazier bets that they would like to see pop up as something fun to bet on.
So now here's what we need to do, Jared.
Okay.
I was going to say, we need to keep track. We need to keep track of this, and we need to revisit this. We need to revisit.
Okay. Let me bookmark this real quick.
So this is 10. These are 10 total bets.
Yeah, I think so. Yep, the top 10 so far. Yeah, okay. According to this website. So now, real quick, before we get started, I just want to have this so I can sleep at night. Everybody, if you choose to bet responsibly. Okay. Don't be going broke over these bets here, people. Okay. And don't come to us saying, well, I would have never made this bet if it wasn't for you guys. We're not telling you to make the bet. We're just showing you what some of the bets are. Okay. Now I do not understand sports betting. So I don't understand the minuses and the pluses. The only thing I've picked up is I think the bigger the minus, the better the bet, like the better odds you have, which makes zero sense to me, but apparently that's the way it rolls. So all right, Josh, what's the first one we got here?
Okay, so the first one is, will any player or coach cry during the national anthem? I think that's a given. They're always
really?
I don't think without fail, you're going to see someone crying. Yeah, without a doubt.
Okay. Now, are they crying because it's the national anthem? Or you think it's just the moment, everything kind of together builds?
A culmination of everything. You're on, the biggest stage in football. You've got the spotlights on you, all the pressure. I think it's and then you're representing your hometown. Yeah, I think someone's crying. I think that's a given.
Okay. Now, this one is something nobody likes to talk about in sports, especially football, but will a player leave the game and not return due to a concussion symptoms?
What are your thoughts here? Yeah, obviously you never want to root, on like an injury. You never want to, applaud something like that or expect it. But chances are, like, let's be honest, there will likely be one injury in the game. Whether or not it's a concussion, you hope not.
Right. You hope not.
Like CTEs and everything, and like long-term damage. But I'm gonna say, will a player leave the game and not return due to concussion symptoms? I'm gonna say no. I don't think it'll be due to concussion symptoms. I think it's gonna be due to something else.
Okay. All right, and then we got we'll move along quickly for you guys here. If the Chiefs win, will Andy Reid be doused in barbecue sauce? Okay, well, this must be old because they're not in, so that one we can. Oh, okay. Now this is a conspiracy theory, right? Drake's Superbowl curse. Which team will he be representing? So the curse is typically, this must be from last year, but The curse typically is that whichever team Drake makes a bet on for winning, they usually end up being the team that loses, whichever team he's typically rooting for. So now, funny enough, a little side note here. I don't know if this is true or not, so fact check us, guys, but I just this morning saw something about how Drake, Academics, who was a DJ, and then there's a third person who are all involved in some RICO charges, and part of the charge is that like a sports betting charge. So I don't know. I have no idea, but so maybe definitely don't go with whatever he's representing, but yeah. So we'll see.
Let's be honest. Hey, given the NFL is an entertainment company, there's no collusion going on within any of this betting anyway, right? That doesn't exist. Not in the NFL.
Doesn't exist. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
How many players will have a passing attempt? So typically you're thinking 2, right? That's why they must have made it an over-under of 2.5, because you're thinking just 2 quarterbacks. But that doesn't include trick plays. It doesn't include if a quarterback gets hurt, or, you just never know. So what are you thinking with this one, Josh?
All right. So we're saying Ravens are making it in. And given Lamar's track record this year, there is a probably high probability Tyler Huntley has to make it into the game at some point. So I'm actually going to say I think there'll be at least 3.
Okay, you're doing the over. All right. Number of beers sold. Oh, geez. I'm going over whatever. I don't care what the number is. I'm saying over. 120,000 over.
Okay, I'm actually going to go. I'm going to say the opposite. I don't know if you've seen, but like apparently these generations are drinking less now. The younger generations are drinking less, which means that I think, especially given if it's like, say it's where's the Super Bowl at this year?
San Francisco.
San Francisco. Okay. Guess what's legal in San Francisco?
What?
Is it marijuana legal? So I think people are starting to switch from drinking to smoking more. So I actually think, I'm actually.
But is it the younger generations who are going to be able to afford to go to the Super Bowl?
When you put it like that, okay, you've persuaded me. We'll go over. Yeah, I'm with you now.
Now here's one I've heard you mention before. What color will the fun one be? Yeah. Okay. So which one do you think for this one, Josh?
I personally, I got to go with like the classic, just yellow. Lemon lime. It's obviously the best flavor, and it's probably the most universal. So lemon lime.
I agree with that. How many times will the chains be? Oh, this is a good one. How many times will the chains be used for measurement? Interesting. They don't really use the chains that much anymore because the technology's gotten better.
I was going to say, given the technology, I feel like it's so advanced where they know they can just. There's probably even sensors in the ball anymore. I don't know if that's
true. I think so. Yeah.
Ooh,
I'm gonna go over just because of the thrill of the game.
Okay.
I think they'll use it as like just for the thrill of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the Super Bowl, you got the most eyes. So maybe I'm going to go 2 times. The over is 1.5, so I'm going to go 2. Yeah. All right, we're almost done. Will a kicker hit the upright or a crossbar on a missed field goal or extra point? That's pretty hard to do. I'm going to go no. What about you?
I'll say no as well.
Yeah. Who will be the Super Bowl MVP of the game? Oh, who will the Super Bowl MVP of the game thank first? This is a fun one. Okay, so if it's the Ravens that win it, and there's an MVP, Lamar or Derrick Henry.
Imagine it's probably either Derrick Henry or Lamar, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go with God because they tend to always in their interviews say they thank God first and foremost almost every time. So I'm going to go God. What about you? What do you got?
I think I'd agree with that. Again, we're kind of going with the Ravens are going to win, and given that Lamar's Lamar and Derrick Henry's. They're always, a 1-2 punch. Either one of them is going to take the cake. So,
yeah. No, not thinking anyone would be absolutely hilarious. But I don't think that'll happen. Unfortunately,
They just get up and wave, then walk away.
Right? They just think themselves. They do the Snoop Dogg and just think themselves. Right. Oh man,
well, that's fun. It's gonna make the Super Bowl a little bit more interesting.
Sure.
Knowing that we've got some predictions. Probably all wrong, but hey, that's all part of gambling. We're not throwing any money down in it, and we do not encourage you to either.
Exactly. Unless
Unless the
we get a
payout's big.
sponsor, that's it.
Yeah, unless it's a payout, unless you guys want to give us a cut.
All
We'll take
right,
it.
let's go.
5-2 on thinking yourself.
Typically the Super Bowl is on Sundays. It always is, which I don't like personally because Sundays, I wish everything could happen on a Saturday. I know it would conflict with other sporting events and everything, but Sundays are like my sacred day. Like Sundays, I feel like are my day where I can really set the rhythm of how my week is going to go.
Yep.
We get all of our chores done on a Sunday. I like try to, at least if I don't write it down, mentally have a game plan for the week. Try to get to bed at a decent hour, pretty early, so I can start the week off strong in terms of getting up at the time I would like to get up. I don't know about you, but like I said, Sundays is kind of like that primary chore day. We have a list of things to do. And one thing you shared with the people last time is that you recently purchased a house, which is huge, which is awesome. Applause to you for that. Everybody gets an applause today.
Everyone gets an applause today. At this point, it's just a participation. Like everyone gets it. So it takes away from it.
I mean, that's the times we live in, right? Participation trophies, consolation trophies. Now, tell the people, man, educate us. Do your typical chores change when you have just bought a house? Are they magnified? Is there a lot more you have to do? Is there a lot less because, maybe it was a brand new house or, it was a new build, who knows? So talk to us.
I think it depends on the situation, right? And just before I get into this, I will say, like, I'm with you. Sundays to me are also, they're also sort of sacred. My family and I, we used to have what's called lazy Sundays. I think you even partook in a couple lazy Sundays where we're just hanging out at the house, cooking food all day. Football's on. We're watching.
I don't know if I was ever invited, but I was probably there.
Yeah, I mean, you're never actually invited, Jared. That's the funny thing. Watching football, swimming, eating, just all day. Listening
Tiki
to
bar.
music. It really just hanging out, having a good time. That's in my opinion. And then you're in bed by you call it by 8:00. Everyone's in bed by 10. Like that to me is just a perfect day. It's a way to end the weekend in a good way. So, I still try and keep that up, right? Sundays for me, obviously I'll probably wake up, try and be a little bit of an adult, get my chores done. But then like the latter half of the day, I if I'm watching TV, I'm going to make some food I probably don't normally eat, wings. Maybe I'll make some sort of like buffalo chicken dip, just try and keep that tradition alive,
Okay.
So, but having a house, like I will say, I think it really is dependent on the person. I am a clean freak, Jared. You and I are both germaphobes. I don't like messiness. There is a place for everything. If you were to open up my drawers, there is a place for everything. Some people might say that's psychotic. I think that's actually just being organized. So, whether or not I'm right or wrong, I don't know. So I pretty much clean throughout the week. But Sundays in particular, I'll go if it's nice out. I'll do like a lot of stuff in the yard. People kind of like get annoyed by having to do chores all the time because it's a never ending battle. You're constantly doing something. But in my opinion, it's almost therapeutic, right? It's like being in like a nice clean space. Like
I agree.
Like clear mind, what is it? Clear room, clear mind, something like that. I don't know. But it's just for me, it's just like it's a good way to just like keep everything aligned,
Yeah.
And it's also nice not having to like wake up the next day, like having to wash dishes, like it's already done. So I personally enjoy doing my chores, getting them done, having a clean house. I think some people might say differently, like where they have one specific day where they knock everything out, right or wrong. I guess that's up to the person. I have a dog, right? My dog, she's a charcoal lab. She sheds. I get little tumbleweeds going throughout my house. And if I don't clean regularly, I mean, it's gross, right?
Yeah.
There's hair everywhere. So I do have to clean constantly. And I enjoy it. I actually had a friend that, bought a house a couple of years back. And I told him, I was like, yeah, I love like doing projects. I love like doing all this stuff. I built a bar, which I'm really proud of. I do, my day job is like completely different from like my hobbies. I like to like work with my hands, I'm trying to build like a fire pit. So like I enjoy the projects, but a friend of mine who bought a house years back, he goes, "Oh, you'll lose that. That's all part of the honeymoon phase." So I'm hoping he's lying.
Well, you were a woodworker before owning a house though, right? So
that is true. That is true. I mean,
hopefully it won't die off for you.
I hope it doesn't. It's one of the many things one of the things I really enjoy in life is just, getting to build stuff. But one of my hobbies, hopefully we talk a little bit more about. But to answer your question, Jared, is I think that in my opinion, if I'm giving advice, I would say just clean throughout the week, even if it's little things. But then maybe, again, you said Sunday, you're probably doing a majority of the chores. Have like one day where you're doing like the big things that you just don't have time for, if that's like sweeping, mopping, whatever. Bathrooms, which are the worst. I don't know.
Okay. So you do a good job of managing Sunday chores by doing most of it throughout the week, not waiting till Sunday to do it, which frees up your Sunday, it sounds like.
Right. And that gives me my lazy Sundays. Yeah.
There you go. I like that, man. Now, when are we going to get a chance to see what this bar looks like you keep talking about?
Maybe I'll flash a picture on and eventually. So right now, and this is, I kind of stole this from my pops. You were there. My dad and my brother built a tiki bar at my family household, and
shout out dad and brother. Everybody gets an applause, man.
Everybody gets an applause today. Everybody gets an applause today.
Feeling gracious today.
So they built this really cool bar, and one of the things, again, it got its use, but one of the things I loved is, we had like Sharpies out there and people are signing all over the bar, writing their names, doodling. And I kind of took that and I wanted to have something similar just for like the time being, until I figure out exactly what I want to do with it. I'm a big live edge guy. So I've got a live edge on the top, and then, it's got plywood around the side. So eventually I'd like to get like a nice copper, wrap it in copper, and then eventually, you get that nice like green patina. So it ages and it gets even.
What's green patina? I have no idea.
It's just copper as it ages. I think it's like an oxidation, like it just oxidizes and it turns it green. Gotcha. And again, it gives it a little bit more character. So eventually I'd like to do that. But I think for the time being, I think just having people come over, signing, doodling. I mean, people have drawn like SpongeBob, people have like written their phone number. Hey, call them. Like, I just think it's a nice way to just, while you're sitting there having a drink, watching some football, it's like, hey, let your creative juices flow.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good conversation starter too. It's a good icebreaker if you're ever having people over like from different walks of life. So nice, man. I know you said you've already started that, or you're waiting until the copper. You're waiting until you wrap it in copper to do this.
No, I'm just that's what I'm doing now. People can sign it for the time being, but then as soon as I wrap it in copper, I probably will not let anyone no longer sign it.
I was gonna say they're definitely not signing the live edge, I would imagine.
Definitely not. No, I've told people have like joked.
So clearly I'm gonna sign it on the live edge.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah. Just Jared, just all across the bar. Yeah. Yeah. And that'll be the end of this podcast.
Now, you told me off camera too, you're thinking about doing a fire pit.
Yeah. So again, I think every house should have a fire pit, even if it's an apartment, just build a fire pit on your little patio,
Just break the laws. That's okay.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I again, just having like a fire pit sitting outside, in the fall, I think just sitting around a fire, there's nothing like it, man. What do they call it? I think they call it cowboy TV or something, where, you're just like staring.
Where do you come up with all these sayings?
I don't think I'm making these up. I don't think
cowboy TV. I've never heard of these. I've never heard of that before.
I'm pretty sure that's the thing. Cowboy TV.
Okay.
Again, I always revert back to the slogan. Yeah, we're gonna put an asterisk on our slogan and just like, we mean this. We know nothing about everything.
Yeah, we're not joking. We literally know nothing.
Fake it till you make it, right, Jared?
Bake it till you make it, man.
Yeah, so hopefully I'll have a nice fire pit in the next couple weeks, couple months, right in time for springtime. And
one of these days you got to do a crib, like show your cribs version, right? Like the MTV cribs.
Right, you see my house, see my cars.
Yeah.
It's just a cardboard box.
With some of the Hot Wheels, like little
Yeah.
mini cars. Yeah.
My fire pit is just like a couple sticks sticking up. Yeah.
Well, you definitely got to keep the people in tune with what's going on with the home, man. I think, at least I would say for me, I'm invested because buying a home is I think it is, especially in today's world, is such a big milestone. So to be able to buy a house, do that yourself, like, man, I mean,
I got two.
so I'm excited for you. I'm excited to talk about it. Get over there and see what you're doing with it. Make sure you don't burn it down.
I can't promise that. Yeah. Hey, if I come back in 3 weeks and I don't have this background, it didn't work.
Indoor fire pit, not a good idea.
Yeah,
Surprise, surprise.
Who would have thought gasoline you're not supposed to use that to start a fire inside? Anyway.
Oh man. Well, this has been good, man. I think we were planning on keeping this one short and sweet for the people, but stay tuned, guys. We're excited to keep exploring new things, different conspiracies. We gave a little teaser of a conspiracy through the Drake saga, so that was fun. But we got some more along the way that we're excited to share with you guys. And as always, till next time.
Just before we go, I just want to just reiterate that we are trying to keep this book club going. We are
yes, thank you. Yeah, I always forget that.
Conspiracy theories 11/22/63. We've got a link down below. Check it out. It is, if you are a Stephen King fan, it is unlike most Stephen King books. It's not really the horror vibe. It actually kind of ties into like the whole JFK assassination. I'm not going to get in depth. We'll talk about it at the end of February. Obviously, I decided this was my pick, so I apologize. It's a doozy. It's a long book, and we decided to choose this on the shortest month of the year. So, make sure you're reading about 100 pages a night, and you can be done in time.
Oh man, and that reminds me, I just saw this. A TV show. They're revamping a TV show that came out years ago about this book, 11/22/63, and it's coming out again soon. So read up so that we can all enjoy the show together. We can talk about each episode as they air. That'll be a really, really fun, hot topic to reconvene about for sure. But yes, book club. If you guys don't mind, help us out. Give this video a like, subscribe. Using our link to purchase these books also is a favor for us. It really helps us out in particular, so we would really appreciate that as well. And if nothing else,
keep in mind, Jared spent top dollar on his Roadcaster, so he's just trying to
trying to recoup some of these funds, man, because life be life, and 2026 is not getting any cheaper.
You know what, Jared? Just because unfortunately, you've been the only one that hasn't gotten an applause, and I just want to applaud you for just being you.
Aww. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that, Joshua. That means a lot. That means the world to me. I appreciate that.
Love you, brother.
I love you too, man. And with that, we're out.
Y'all come back now, you hear?